So in this video, I'm going to explain the story of how I made $24.5 million by the age of 22.
On the surface, Iman Gadzhi appears to be one of the most successful YouTubers in the finance space, and looking at his recent views and channel performance, his clout levels are definitely in an upward spiral. However, his sudden rise has been met with some backlash.
A few months ago, Iman released a program called Influencer Ignited. For $1,000, I better be getting a complimentary slap and tickle, if you know what I mean.
Comments all over the internet are accusing him of being what you would call a fake guru and are questioning the main sources of his wealth. This really sparked my interest, and given that he's been making videos for quite some time now, I sat down and watched through his content dating all the way back to 2016, where he was just a young jit with zero bread. So let's take a look at what I found and try to figure out how legitimate his self-proclaimed $30 million net worth really is.
Can you tell me like roughly what your net worth is?
Do around like $1.5 million a month at the moment.
$1.5 million a month. Okay.
Iman Gadzhi was born on January 3rd of 2000 in South Russia, where he was raised by his single mother and grandparents. You could say his life really was a movie, as he describes his early life living situation similar to the film Borat. Much like the shorties in my DMs, Iman did not have a father figure in his life, but his mother and grandmother made him feel like he had someone he could look up to. Growing up, his mother worked 2 jobs to be able to support herself and Iman, and upon turning 4, they moved to London, which was quite the transition for him. Going from a small town in Russia to all of a sudden living in a huge city took some adjusting for Iman. He went from TV channels that would broadcast the oldest classics to watching the latest videos from Mr. Recent Era. At the age of 8, instead of getting into devious trouble with his friends, he instead began reading books. He would go to his local library and buy his favorite books, which he would later read at home. Now, these weren't any ordinary Diary of a Wimpy Kid books. Iman was reading certified hood classics like Rich Dad Poor Dad and the 48 Laws of Power. These rare habits is what separated him from the rest of the children. He was a shy kid and never went out of his way to talk to people, but as he grew, he crawled out of his little shell more and more. This just proves that W-Riz can't be achieved through watching Alpha M videos alone. It can only be harvested with age and experience. Since Iman was now older and more confident, he wanted to make some money. He was still too young to submit a job application to become a certified AWK at his local corner store, so he did the next logical thing he could do, which was starting a side hustle. This side hustle consisted of him flipping Instagram accounts. Iman made a slight couple grand from this hustle before departing from the hustle entirely. The only logical thing he could do with this money at such a young age is blow it all on Pokemon cards. But Iman was obviously different. He smelt an opportunity and decided to save up his money. Iman dreamed of becoming the next Graham Stephan, so he created his first YouTube channel where he would create videos documenting his entrepreneurial journey. The best part was that he was pretty consistent with his upload, unlike many other YouTubers. While Iman was busy with content creation, he realized Susan wasn't gonna pay for the lifestyle he wanted, so this time he decided to use his social media skills and offered to run his local soccer team's social media pages for $90 a week. The owner of the organization must have been in a good mood that day, because he agreed to the offer, and Iman was contracted to post 4 YouTube videos, 30 unique Instagram posts, and 3 unique Facebook posts every month. This has got to be illegal. Bro was only 15 and was already working a full-time job with less than minimum wage pay. Although, to be fair, this was technically his first client for the multi-million-dollar ad agency he currently runs, so it was worth it in the end. Something about this hustle really sparked his interest in growing businesses for other people, so Iman dialed in and started reaching out to clueless business owners that would be interested in his service. For a whole 7 months, Iman's business was stagnant till a specific week that changed his life. He hopped on his usual Discord call with a potential client, except this time the client was actually interested and ended up hiring Iman. This momentum continued until Iman was racking in $4,500 a month. This was Iman's last straw to become a certified high school dropout. He was now all in on his agency since he had no future at university. A degenerate like Iman was stacking his bread at a very young age, but this didn't mean his journey was over. One day, he discovered Facebook ads, and without any testing or research, he rolled out this new service to his agency. He's just like me for real. Iman should have thought twice before finalizing his decision, because this new service lost his clients a lot of money. Not only that, a lot of his clients ended up leaving his agency after his poor performance. This was a huge L for Iman, but this only gave him more momentum to bounce back from his loss. Iman began pulling back the slingshot by focusing on only one niche. This was the best decision he ever made, because when he let go of the slingshot, his business exploded. He went from making $10K a month to making over $100,000 in 1 month. This proved that drawbacks can propel you forward even more. Iman was now back on his reading grind, and when he read the 4-hour workweek, it was obvious that hiring employees would help scale the agency. The momentum propelled Iman into a different level of rich, and this is where the monk mode Iman was born. He grew his agency to have 4 employees with over 18 clients, and every month he was making enough to put a down payment on a California home in the hills. I know this because I recently just put a down payment on a California home in the hills. And even though it seemed like it was smooth sailing for Iman, that wasn't the case. He lost some of his clients here and there, which sometimes equaled up to a loss of $25,000 in 1 month. That would be no big deal for me, since $25,000 is my monthly Funko Pop budget, but for Iman, this was something that took a toll on his mental health. And it's why the quote that goes, "When it rains it pours," is one of his favorites. He truly believed when one thing goes bad, everything else will go bad too. So he dealt with moments like these by meditating and hopping on ashwagandha. But as big of a hustler Iman was, he knew any money he lost must be made back. So consulting became a big part of Iman's business. Iman charged mindless individuals $25,000 for 2 days of consulting. This sounds like something I could tap into. If you want cheap consulting from me, tap in. I'm only charging $50K for 3 days of consulting, which is a bargain for what I'll be putting you on. The only issue with consulting was that it wasn't scalable for him. So he transformed his in-person consulting gig to an online course, which was when Iman became a certified guru in the financial space. Coming in at $3,000, Iman started getting some hate for his course due to the high price and alleged lack of technical teaching inside the program. During this time, he was also seen popping up before every Sigma male entrepreneur video with his infamous YouTube ad promoting the course.
So, I'm a 17-year-old high school dropout.
She see money all around me.
Because of this, he was featured in many YouTube videos that would expose this slightly sussy behavior. However, most of these videos lacked substances and were mainly silly, goofy trolls, so despite the backlash, he was running up a huge bag. His course profits quickly surpassed his agency profits. Iman was aware of the hate, so in order to rejuvenate his reputation, he transitioned his course into an education company. However, the sus behavior does not stop there, and he would once again fall into the temptation of guru behavior when he would go on to launch his NFT project called the Gents Croquet Club. With all the controversy around influencers launching NFT projects, this would automatically be a red flag for most people, but it's actually not that bad of a project. It has some utility and the floor price has been holding steady for the past year. This was no rug pull, so his reputation is still clear of any cash grab attempts on that end of things. One common theme throughout this whole story is that Iman was running up a bag, which might make it seem like his life is perfect. However, Iman confesses that although money has changed his life, it wasn't something that made him happy. Depression and sadness is something that was prevalent in his life and is why he enjoys the little things, like walking. Probably why bro doesn't have any whips. Kinda lame. I would recommend securing yourself an E46 M3. But Iman learned from a very young age to focus on peace, God, and gratitude instead of material things, which I can really respect. And this entire story brings us to today, where Iman has been absolutely popping off in these last few months. However, this newfound fame is very different than his previous wave of rising to fame through paid YouTube ads. Much of his new audience is not familiar with that previous chapter of his life, and this new wave of clout coming his way is overwhelming positively, since it's organically driven from him putting out solid free content. By focusing on his production quality and getting nasty with his titles and thumbnails, he's been able to absolutely explode his channel throughout the last year. Now, with all of this in mind, is he actually someone you can trust? People love to run to him selling a course as proof that he is a fake guru and someone that you should avoid. However, I don't believe selling a course is enough to qualify someone as a fraud. Online education seems to be the future, and there aren't many in-person courses you can take that will teach you how to start a social media marketing agency. Although he undoubtedly has made a lot of money through selling his program and educating people, we can't ignore that beyond reasonable doubt, he has made decent money with the business that he is teaching. His involvement in the NFT space may raise some red flags. However, there are many accusations of him not delivering on the project that he's launched. Seeing Iman's come up unfold throughout the history of his YouTube channel is very inspiring, and I believe that he is an overall net positive for the social media business community.